Hello. In this session, we will examine a different way students can turn papers in to be graded within Moodle. We have logged into our Moodle account, and we're going to go to our Moodle page where the activity for our students is located. We want to make sure that our editing is turned on. So if your document looks like this where you don't have any controls, you need to make sure to come to the upper right hand corner of your page and turn your editing button on. You can see that we have an activity about finger length ratio. Here I've added a picture within a label that shows you about finger length ratio and a slight statement. Students will listen to a podcast about finger length ratio. Then there is a Word document with questions on it that they will need to answer. And now we need to make a place for them to actually turn in their Word document to be graded. So remember, whenever a student is going to turn something into us, you'll need to go to Add an Activity. Normally, what we've done in the past is either did advanced uploading of files or upload a single file when students are turning in papers. However, this has proved to be somewhat cumbersome if we're wanting to actually mark on the paper itself instead of simply making comments in the comment box when we're grading those papers. So if you're a teacher that would like to actually mark on the paper itself, this is probably going to be one of the simplest ways to accomplish this. Otherwise, if you're going to have students uploading files, whether advanced uploading or single file, it would be best to just make comments in the comment box when you grade. So what we'll do, if you want to actually be able to mark on the papers, is we're going to add an online text. This will not allow students to upload anything at all, but it works great with Google Docs. So we're going to come in here and we're going to name this finger length ratio. And we want our students to know that this is where they're going to turn in finger length ratio document here. And I'd just like to be very clear in the naming of my assignments as to exactly what the students are supposed to do here so that there's no guessing and no confusion. Try to be consistent in that. And then because this has an asterisk and is in red, we have to put something here, so I'm just going to put the same thing. Then we can also decide when their due date is, when this assignment is due, when the students can start working on this assignment. Will I allow resubmitting? That's up to you. If you want the student to have a chance to resubmit their work, then of course you can put yes. They could have made a mistake, they could have left something off and realized after they turned in the paper to you electronically that, oh, I need to put something else on there. And so I might allow resubmitting, but then that's a personal decision that you as a teacher would make. So now we're going to save and return to the course. So we now have this set up, and I kind of like for things to be in a certain order. So I'm going to move this up to right underneath the Word document so that they get the Word document where the questions are that they'll be answering. And then right below it is where they would turn in that assignment. So now as the student, and let's go in and change this switch my role to student, because it's always very important as the teacher, as the instructor, that you not only look at your Moodle page from your point of view, but you also look at it from the point of view of your students. So the students have come in and they've listened to the Finger Length podcast, and now they are going to open up the Word document with the questions on it. And I already have that opened over here. And so here we have the information you want your students to know, and then they're going to answer these questions based on the podcast that they listened to. Okay. First, I'm going to show you if students have a Google Docs account, and this is really going to be the easiest way for papers to be turned in, where you can actually mark on the paper itself, is for your students to use Google Docs. So what they would need to do is, when they go to their Google Docs home, is they would need to upload that Word document that you gave to them about finger length ratio. So I have saved the finger length ratio response, podcast response, onto my documents on my computer itself. So now I want to upload that document into Google Docs. And just that fast, and here is that document. Okay. So I am still in student mode. I'm going to come in and I'm going to answer the questions that my teacher has asked me to answer based on what I read in the podcast. And of course, these answers are not as they should be. Now what we need to do is, our students will need to click on Share in the upper right hand corner. Your documents in Moodle are, in Google are always private unless you change it. So as the student, I will want to change this to anyone with the link. And because I'm sending the link to my teacher to be graded, I need to change this to from can view to can edit, because I want my teacher to be able to edit my paper. And then I will click Save. When I click Save, I am given a URL. So essentially what this does is it takes my Word documents, whether it's a Word doc, a PowerPoint, Excel document, etc., and when I move it into Google Docs, it gives my documents a URL so that I can share it. So we're just going to copy that URL and click Done. And I'm going to, at this time, sign out, because your students would sign out of their Google accounts as well. And one more time, sign out. And we'll completely close that out. So now that our student has saved their document and they have copied the URL to that document, they need to turn in that paper to you. So they'll go to where it says Turn in Finger Length Ratio Document here. And they're going to add a submission. Notice now, this is different than the way we've seen to grade papers before and to turn in papers before. All we have here now is a submission box. There is nowhere for students to click to add or upload a file. We want to click on this little clipboard that has a W on it for a Word document. We're going to paste from Word, and it's important that you do that. So we're going to click Control V, and there is our URL. Then we want to click on Insert, and now we have our URL. We want to make sure that it's linked. Usually it normally does that on its own, but just to be sure, we're going to Control C, we're going to click on the link, and we're going to Control V that link into that so that it is now hot linked. If you don't automatically see that it has hot linked, you do need to go through those steps. If you didn't get that, just pause, rewind, and play it again. And now the most important thing is to click Save Changes. You know that your submission went through because you can see it right here. And you can click on that. And it says your changes have been saved. So, let's go back and look at this from the teacher point of view. How the teacher will see this and how the teacher can grade the paper. So we have returned to the teacher mode, and we're going to simply click on the same place the students clicked to turn in their paper. Turn in finger length ratio document here. And we can see that one student has submitted this assignment, and here is that assignment. So we're going to click over here to see the student who has submitted their assignment, and we can see who turned that in. Now, if we want to actually mark on the paper itself, because I know some teachers like to actually mark on the paper themselves, other teachers are okay with simply making comments in the comment box here. Okay? But if you want to actually mark on the paper itself, then you will just open up the paper, and because the student shared this paper with you and gave you editing rights, you can now go in and respond to them. For instance, you can come in, put your cursor down, when we're going to insert a comment. We're going to say, I think you could have answered this better. Oops, I have all caps on, so try again and resubmit. That may be something that you would say. Then you're going to click comment. Then when the student goes back and opens up this paper, they will be able to see what comments you made. If you don't like doing it in this manner, then what you could also do is put your cursor down. You could change the color of the text. You could even change the font type if you want, and you could say, you could answer this question better than this. Try again. So either way, either by adding a comment, by going to insert and comment, or by simply changing the color of the font and even the font style itself, and then the students can see your responses. Now, we don't even have to press save. That's one of the fabulous things about Google Docs. It's already saved this for you. We don't have to upload, download, anything. We can simply now get out of here and go right back to our Moodle page. So we're just going to go back to our Moodle page, and I hit a couple of times too many. So we'll go back to our Moodle page, and now we can always come back in, and if we want to add more feedback here we can give this student a grade, and they just did not do a good job. They just typed a bunch of gibberish in there. And now we're going to save the changes. And so the student immediately can see, here is this information. So let's again go back and let's look at this from the student point of view. What is the student going to see? Alright. So now as a student, I've received my grade, and I see, oh, I only made 10 points out of 100. Maybe I should have done better. So I'm going to open this up and see what comments my teacher has made. Of course now I'm not going to see, I see the comments right here. I see the ones my teacher put in the comment box, or I see where my teacher wrote in red on my paper. Of course you could have picked green or purple or whatever color you wanted. And so now if the student would like to make changes and resubmit this paper, they can go ahead and do that from this point. And again, I'm just hitting the back key to go back.